along the lines of not playing well enough. I mean, I feel like that's obvious, but yeah, no, there's a lot of stuff that, as a personal player, I need to improve on.
That's Wyatt Teller in the postgame Sunday. Browns lost, obviously, to San Francisco. Returning, getting ready for the Tennessee Titans. Wyatt Teller will not play against the Tennessee Titans. They said he had a calf injury.
Who said he had a calf injury?
Browns said he hurt his calf. Kevin Stefanski said he hurt his calf.
Yeah.
Said he hurt his calf in the fourth. But he said it was a performance issue. Something ain't right. And what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to make sense of the nonsensical. Because I think Wyatt's been a fantastic lineman for this football team. And I think I don't want to turn Tevin Jenkins into a bad guy or anything, or a villain. He could end up being a good lineman. Because I'm starting to wonder some things here. Just this whole thing seems goofy. Do you have any theories about this before I move on with this? Before I get my two theories that are possible?
The only thing I was wondering is if they thought he was playing poorly and it was because of an injury. Then they were trying to protect him. I
think that's what Albert Breer kind of kicked around yesterday.
That is what John Greco, kind of alluded to.
He said he grabbed at his leg yesterday.
Well, and he said that maybe they're trying to protect him from injuring himself further with us yesterday.
Okay.
But that's all speculation more than anything. I don't think anybody knows anything for sure on that.
And you saw this. He graded out higher. It's just PFF, but he graded out higher
highest Browns player.
And I thought it was a good offensive line performance.
So I remember this. I don't want to bog it down too much, but I remember doing Tony Pashos radio years ago and ripping Tony Pashos and finding out that Tony Pashos was basically playing with a broken shoulder and a broken leg at the same time and feeling like a piece of garbage for ripping the guy every single Sunday.
He was always in a walking boot.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what you get. You gut it out and try to play, and you get ripped by radio.
Yeah, you get ripped by some kid on the radio at the time. And I remember feeling that way. So it's if a guy's battling injury, I'll always say I think he's battling injury. I'm not hearing anything from Wyatt, and I don't think he's playing bad. That's the issue. Like, I'm not thinking that he's playing bad. And PFF, we've gone around before on, but PFF said he was, the highest graded offensive player for the Browns?
Yes.
So what is making sense here? I try to make sense of the nonsensical, which is almost impossible to do with the Browns.
Especially
here we are.
When you're playing a rookie quarterback that is going to need all the help he can get. So now you're going to have musical chairs on the offensive line?
Which, guys, if they're willing to... do I dare say this?
You ran this by me earlier.
You don't want me to say it. If you're giving me the eyes to say it, maybe I shouldn't say it.
It might not be worth it.
Well, no, you guys can be mad at the Browns all you want. I didn't say it. It just leads me to think different things about the Browns and what they think of Shedeur Sanders. Want me to say it?
I mean, I got time. Go ahead.
If they're willing to play musical chairs with their offensive line, what do they really think of the quarterback playing behind them? If they took Shedeur Sanders number 2 overall.
Reckless speculation.
On YouTube Live, that's Ken Carmen.
I don't think
the guy on the right.
I don't think that.
The guy on the right for once, not the guy on the left.
I don't think it. I want anybody to be good for the Browns. I'm pointing out if he was the number 2 overall pick, would they be messing around with their offensive line? If they were that desperate, but Wyatt Teller doesn't. Wyatt Teller is not an abomination of the position. If he were an abomination of the position, I'd go, fine, get somebody else in there. But he's not. They're proving it on the internet that he's not. He's not the problem. So you're putting in another guy in Tevin Jenkins. I don't want to rip Tevin Jenkins yet. I haven't got a real chance to see Tevin Jenkins, right? Right. Yes.
But if Wyatt Teller is injured, do you want him out there with a guy who, should have been the number 2 pick?
But he ain't saying he's injured. And they told him before that they were going to work him in. That's where I don't understand it.
And now
he's saying he's not. He hadn't said he was injured. What?
I got a text from my buddy, all Ohio Mike. He goes, that's the Browns' way. They bench a guy for playing too well. They never bench anybody for playing poorly.
So this is my issue here. I'm going to throw 2 theories by you. One is flowery. I want to throw this by... guys, I'm thinking on the fly here. I want help on this, all right? 216-474-0092. What do you think is the actual truth here? Where yesterday, Lance Risland was on with Afternoon Drive. Coach Lance, he doesn't understand Stefanski rotating Wyatt Teller around.
I always try to kind of give coaches, a little bit of benefit of the doubt. It's lonely on top, and when you're on top, everybody's got an answer and all those kind of things. But I've watched every single snap, and he's by far the best offensive lineman. He's had his issues. A lot of his issues have to do with they're in 3rd and 10, and he's not the best lateral mover. But in terms of run game, in terms of displacing people, he's doing everything he's always done, especially when they run what he does best, which is down blocking, gap schemes. He's fantastic. So I don't understand that. The one thing that's bothersome to me is what you said about, like, Kevin said one thing and he said the other. When you don't have alignment, it's a mess. I don't care if it's high school, college, or pro. When you're not aligned from top to bottom and you're struggling like they are, it gets exposed. And winning hides a lot, and when you lose, it shows true dysfunction.
So here's my 2 theories. First theory is they just don't like Wyatt Teller, and they're seeing something we don't see. And he's 30 years old. Tevin Jenkins is 27. Tevin Jenkins is probably cheaper, and they want to see what Tevin Jenkins has at the position. And I can rant and rave and disagree with the Browns all I want. We've all disagreed with the Browns many, many times over, and they've still done a lot of things that we don't want them to do. That's my first theory. Do you believe that that's a passable theory?
It actually kind of does.
Okay, but I got another theory for you. Now, this would be as Browns gets. They don't have a lot of money to throw around next year. Okay, what's Tevin Jenkins' contract situation? What's your guard situation? I got Ethan Posick, who's up at center. I got Luke Whippler, who's been working in on the offensive line because guys have been getting hurt. Now, I think altogether, Mike Bloomgren's done a pretty good job getting this all schemed up. I got to tell you.
They have to try it. Yeah, I agree. They have to try it again with DeJuan Jones.
So
they have to.
They're going to have to try it again over at right tackle with DeJuan Jones. We ain't doing this left tackle stuff no more. He's clearly uncomfortable doing it. He could be a good right tackle. Let's leave him at right tackle.
Does it matter if you have a left-handed quarterback or not?
No, God, I'm done with that stuff too. So my other theory is this. Are we in the final 5 games of Joel Bitonio?
Yes.
This is how they would think. And Joel Bitonio's not doing a bad job either. So if you're going to rotate one guy out, you're not going to rotate the guy who, if you had more team success, would be an arguable Hall of Famer. You're not going to rotate your guy who leads your franchise in snaps or starts or whatever the number is right now. He's actually beating out Joe Thomas for it. You're not going to replace him. He's playing his final 5 games. It's almost like he came back for charity almost. You're not gonna switch him out and put in Tevin Jenkins. Now I know that other guys, Jackie Slater did it at the end of his career, things like that, but they're not gonna do it with Joel Bitonio. Wyatt Teller, they find it maybe very easier to do it with Wyatt Teller, and maybe they're gonna put Tevin Jenkins in there at guard on the other side of Wyatt Teller because they could go, okay, we'll pay Wyatt Teller some money, and we'll do the Jack Conklin thing, which is a terrible name to bring up, I know, because his name is mud with Browns fans, but we'll do the Jack Conklin thing because you can't just play musical linemen all the time. Is that a theory that could pass? Now, that's more Browns.
What Wyatt just had his 100 start.
Yes. And they decided.
We got an email about that from Stu.
Good, but not good enough. We're going on to Tevin Jenkins.
I still altogether the fact
that. So, Tevin, when you get your 100 start, look the hell out, buddy.
Well, the fact that that's good if you can get to 100 starts. The fact that the two of us have just concocted 5 semi-plausible explanations.
Well, I only had 2.
Well, it seems like, we've been sitting here talking about it for 10 minutes. Just would have been nice. I don't know, if you're Shedeur Sanders, wouldn't you just rather have Wyatt Teller out there?
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Or whoever starts at quarterback.
And for the folks that are saying, well, that's the Browns putting the boots to them. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell you guys for how many months? You guys, the Shedeur fans are new here. I'm not. I know that they make crazy decisions, and that would be a crazy decision. That would not be in the best interest of your quarterback. But if they don't think your quarterback's that great, they're going to go ahead and try some different things. Oh, my God. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do. So it's 2 theories. One, they just don't think Wyatt's good, which I would highly disagree. Obviously, and I think you would highly disagree. I know the guys in the afternoon disagree. That's 4 of us. Lance is 5 of us. That's 5. Okay, 5 against the Browns. The other thought is, well, if you really did want to try to work around with your offensive line, you can't just take the rookie situation. I don't know how many guys are plug and play. That's what made Joel Bitonio so special. You took him in the 2nd round. You just put him in there at guard, and away he went for the rest of his career. That's why he's beloved here, because you never had to worry about the guy. Even at tackle, when they tried to experiment with that and he was clearly uncomfortable and told everybody, you didn't really worry about the guy. That's what's made Joel so great. But if you wanted to, you could say, we're going into the game, you're 3-8. You know they're always thinking big picture. This is a team that did not try to win games in the month of December last year. They didn't even bother trying to win. So they're going to take Tevin Jenkins. They might like Tevin Jenkins. I got nothing against the fella. And they're going to go, okay, we can't rotate him in with Joel because the people will go crazy because they love Joel. And we can't do that to Joel because it's a bad look. And he's one of our Ring of Honor type of guys.
We begged him to come back.
We begged him to come back. We're not going to do that. But hey, Wyatt's up, and Wyatt's got a few more years, and maybe we could just pay him money, and we could just move with Tevin Jenkins over on one side and Wyatt Teller on the other, and Luke Whippler in the middle, and we'll put DeJuan Jones over at right tackle. And even as I say this, I just know that they probably aren't going to do it. So it's just the ramblings of a crazy person who covers a 3-9 football team. 216-474-0092. You think that's right? I just got a text. I might want to put. I'm gonna put his name out there. Earl's 6. He's with us. Earl's number 6. 6 guys. Earl the Pearl, my friend. Thank you for listening, Earl. We love you. Do you think that that's plausible there?
It actually is. Yeah.
Honestly, the second one is what I want to happen. That's the easiest one for me to swallow. Not just, hey, we don't think Wyatt Teller's any good anymore. Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. This is great. I think you've seen this movie a couple times before and you don't need to see it again, at least not until the ending. Maybe you think the ending is going to change. That's coming up in just a few moments. So I've shared 2 theories. One is just typical Browns. Other one is hopeful Browns, which probably isn't the right theory about this Wyatt Teller situation, because you didn't put him on any sort of list, injured list before, participation list he wasn't on. Then you said that you're going to rotate Tevin Jenkins in. Then Wyatt Teller comes down with a calf injury, where some people said, including John Greco, said he saw him grab his calf, but Wyatt didn't mention anything in the postgame. It was his 100th start. Again, congratulations. Here's your replacement. And my 2 theories were, one, because I like Wyatt Teller, and I like Wyatt Teller personally. I also think he's a hell of a lineman. And I think that he could be good for this football team for the next few years as we start to make these transitions. Now, I think that this is a team that's going to be a little bit on the cash strap side of things because of the money that they have to pay out to a couple of veterans there, one of which is worth it. The other one is one of the worst contracts in sports history. So it makes you have to cut corners in other positions when you're a 3-win football team, for crying out loud. That's how bad of an investment that was. But you have to cut corners in certain parts of your roster that you might not want to. And by the way, they were mentioning that yesterday or on Sunday on the broadcast, like Trent Green was talking about, hey, you got Brock Purdy, that contract. You've had to cut corners in other positions, a la Clelin Ferrell and Jordan Elliott playing defensive line for your San Francisco 49ers. You don't really want that to happen, but you're going to have to make do because you've paid a lot of money out in other contracts. And I think what they're trying to do is find a savings on at what one point was one of the most expensive offensive lines in football, and at one point was very well worth it. And so if I looked into 2026, I hated sharing the theory about Shedeur Sanders. That's not what I want to be true, but I told you guys what I think that they may be thinking, because if he were a first-round draft pick, you damn sure ain't going to mess with anything on your offensive line to get the guy put in harm's way. But if there's 2026 coming around, you're hoping DeJuan Jones comes back and is healthy and can actually stay healthy for an entire season. Love the young man. Maybe you could put him over at right tackle again. Then you got your center position. We don't know what the future is with Ethan Posick necessarily, but I know that they like Luke Whippler. Whether or not the fans like Luke Whippler, we'll find out. Then you have the guard situation. Left tackle, that's a totally different conversation. I'm not even going to have it yet. But at the guard situation, you have Joel Bitonio on one side. He's playing in his final 5 games. He hasn't come out necessarily and said it. He's dropped a million hints. It's basically there. He's done after this year. They basically had to beg him to come back this year to talk him into playing this year. Well, he's the guy who could possibly be in the Ring of Honor someday, or certainly would be a Browns legend. So you're not going to just take him out and start working him in and out. But you have Wyatt Teller, and you're thinking, okay, I could just make it up for this with money. Because they could turn right around and go, hey, we like Tevin Jenkins. We're going to put him at one guard. We're going to keep him. And we've decided to ink an extension with Wyatt Teller. And we'll let bygones be bygones because money fixes lots of things. It's not necessarily the way I would think about doing it, but it's possibly a way they could do it, because Tevin Jenkins during practice, because we love to talk about reps here, when you go through situations with the ones, you do run reps where, hey, 77's down, 74, we need you on the field, and he runs out. Like, they do that during the week. So if they like what they see in this young man and they did enough to bring him in, then maybe they'll put him over at one of the guard spots. Or they just don't see what we all see, and they don't like Wyatt Teller. There you go. What do you think? Before I go to the phones.
Yeah, I think it doesn't make any sense, and I think the offensive line has played the best it's played all year in the last 2 weeks. So that's the one thing Shedeur has going for himself for this week against Tennessee is if he gets another good offensive line performance, he has a chance to play really well. If he does not play well and it looks bad or he regresses, then we might have to have conversations again. But this should be an opportunity this week to play well. But now without Wyatt Teller and with the musical chair
I really hope Tevin Jenkins plays well because he could end up in one of the two guards. He could end up replacing Wyatt. I don't know what we're going to do without Joel next year, unless they didn't plan on keeping Ethan Posick and putting Luke Whippler over at the other guard. You got any thought on that before I go to Ike here?
No, I mean Whippler came in for a few plays at center on
I think
Sunday.
He's played a little bit of guard, has he?
Yeah, he's played some guard too. Like they've used him in that third tight end role where he blocks for guys too.
Zach Zinter's a healthy scratch every week, and yes. I don't know what's going on there, and I don't even want to speculate. I have no idea. No one says anything, so I don't even want to talk about it. Ike in Cleveland, you're first up on the Fan. Yellow, Ike.
Hey, Grand Rising guys, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much, Ike. Go right on ahead.
So the Browns could be sabotaging and trying to tank, or they could just be seeing what they got in our other guard. I mean, we clearly know we need a left tackle. We clearly know we got a lot of moving pieces on this O-line coming up. I think they just need to go ahead and see what we got in our other guard. Let Teller, clearly they believe in Teller. There's no reason you're celebrating 100 games and you don't got some type of long time thing for this guy. He's still on the stadium outside. You know what I mean?
I'd sure as hell hope so, Ike. I'd sure as hell hope so.
I think that they just trying to see what they got in everybody. Shedeur probably plays. They're not in the business of winning games right now, so it wouldn't make sense for them to. Yeah. Keep marching the best guys out there.
And sometimes I just have to accept reality here. Ike, thank you very much for the call. They may feel a lot differently about him than I do. I'll have to accept that at the end of the year. And I don't want to turn Tevin Jenkins into some sort of villain. I just know that everybody's going to be watching him like a hawk coming up on Sunday. That's all I'm at on that.